Hey, good morning. It's me, Mr. Trio, back again for another video. And here we are today. We're going to be looking at similar right triangles. And our goal for today is to take a picture or a drawing of a right triangle that, in this case, is actually three right triangles. And what we're going to do today is we're going to break it into pieces and show how each of the pieces or each of the lengths for these triangles forms a proportion with the lengths of the other triangle and the other triangle. Basically, there's three triangles, and they're all proportional. So first thing I want to do is I want to show you how to look at a drawing like this and realize that this is three different triangles. We have a small triangle here, we have a medium triangle, and then if we put our hand over this, we see the big one. So the first thing I want to do with this is I want to draw this as three separate triangles. So step one, I'm going to break this off here. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller for space, but the first one here I have is B, D, A. I have another one that looks very similar. It is similar, actually. What am I saying? Oh. And then I have the third and final one that's actually this. The other two is just you take that segment out, you realize it's the big one. All right, well, when you look at these triangles, one thing I want to do is I want to figure out a way in which I can label them so that I won't get confused about what's related to what. And since they're all right triangles, I know that they have legs and a hypotenuse. And the two sides that make the 90 degrees are the legs. And then the one that's across from the 90 degrees is the hypotenuse. So I'm going to label them in a way that makes it just so I can keep them straight. So like when I look at this one, this is a leg and this is a leg. I'm going to call this the short leg and this the long leg. And this is my hypotenuse. When I come over here to what I'll call the medium, if you will, the small, medium, and large, on the medium triangle, things have changed. This is not the long leg anymore. This is actually the short leg for this triangle. Here's the long leg and here's the hypotenuse. And then the same thing goes for the last one. Once again, things are changing. What was a hypotenuse is not a hypotenuse anymore. What was a long leg is not a long leg. So when you look at this, now the 90 degree is up at the top. So that means that this is your hypotenuse down here on the bottom. And this is your short leg, and this is your long leg. Now again, I'm creating this and labeling this in a way so that I can keep track of what is what. So when I plug in or throw in some numbers and start trying to solve a problem, I'll be able to know what to compare. What goes with what. So let's do a little exercise on what goes with what by simply looking at this. I made up a couple letters here to represent segments. If I say, for example, proportionally AD over AB, well, let's look at that drawing. AD represents a short leg and AB is a hypotenuse. So that has to be proportional to this triangle and this triangle. So if I was trying to work a problem and I know that AD and AB, I have those two numbers, I can apply that to coming over here and saying, all right, what's this short leg here? BD and BC. And once again, short leg over hypotenuse. I'm just picking, I randomly chose those two, but I was just showing in a problem, if I were to be given the short leg and the hypotenuse, I would be looking to create matches so that I could solve the problem. And then on the last one, if I say my short leg is AB and my hypotenuse is AC. And so these are the proportions that I create whenever I'm trying to work out one of these problems. I can create multiple different ways of doing the proportions, but the most important part is that I see that I get a pattern that stays the same no matter what. So if I start with hypotenuse over long leg, then everybody goes in the same fashion. All right, the second thing I want to look at, and that was my first little example, was part A, write a proportion. And part B, I want to write a similarity statement. For example, if I say the triangle ABD, and that's what I decide I'm going to name it, I'm going to call it ABD in that order. Similarity statement would be, how does ABD tie to the next one? So let's look at the next triangle. Now, it kind of goes back again to looking at the picture and looking at the letters. If you look at AB from A to B was the hypotenuse, and from B to D was the long leg. So the pattern is to start at the hypotenuse, go down the side called the hypotenuse, and then to the long leg. So over here, I want to do the same thing, hypotenuse, then long leg. So I would say triangle B, C, D is similar to, and then I look at that last one, following the same pattern. Remember, hypotenuse, long leg, hypotenuse, long leg. We'll do it again, but this time remember, everything's flipped upside down, so the bottom is the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse, long leg. And if you look back, you can see how these names, these what you call similarity statements, tie to the proportions. Look at, for example, the first two letters of this name was AB. And the first two letters were BC and AB. So maybe I got something wrong there. Maybe I got that wrong. I said ABC, that's short leg, then long leg. See, the pattern didn't hold. So now I can go back and say, let's do that one more time. What was the pattern again? Hypotenuse, long leg. So it should go A, C, B. So you just change it. But it lets you figure out immediately when you have your pattern off because your proportion won't match. I matched it, I didn't match it, went back and fixed it. So that's just a little thing I would call another little trick to help you solving this. And again, if you have these names, you don't really need the picture. You don't need that drawing, or you don't need that statement, because you can make this statement from these names. If you just say, this one, and this one match, this two, and then the first two. Everybody, you can figure it all out. So let's go at a problem where I'm going to try to do just one example and solve a problem using this philosophy, using this little strategy. So I'm going to take this triangle and I'm going to break it apart. I'm going to start down here. I want to make the smaller of the three triangles. I'm going to label it 15, X, and 9. Draw another one right next to it. And then I have one more, the big one. And this will be 15, 20. And then this one, because this part was 9 and this part is Y, this would be 9 plus Y. All right, so there's so many different ways you could solve a problem like this. I'm just going to show you my go-to method if it were me. I'm going to look at each one of these and say, all right, what do I need to know here? Or what information do I have? In this first one, for example, I have 2 of the numbers and a variable. Whereas the second one here, I've got 2 variables. I don't really want to start with that one. That's not somewhere I want to start because I already got 2 letters. And then the third one, I have two letters, 2 numbers again, and I just have the 1 variable. So I'm going to keep that one on the back burner, if you will, for a moment, and look at this one here. I'm just going to start with the basics and see where that takes me. So when I look at this first one, I see 15 over 9. All right, so 15 over 9. Well, 15 was my hypotenuse, and 9 was my short leg. So I know that I'm looking, if I'm going to compare them 2 numbers, I'm looking to find a hypotenuse and a short leg. And when I look at the triangle right to the right of me, I look at this medium, right next to it, I happen to notice I have a hypotenuse and I have a short leg. So I can write that down, and look what happens when I do that. And right there I have my answer.
Good afternoon, students and staff. May I have your attention for a few afternoon announcements?
And I get 12.
In honor of Black History Month, please look at colleges located in all buildings for admission information. Also, listen carefully to the morning announcements for our final week of Black History Trivia. Oral History Club
Last
will
one,
be
I'm just going to talk
on
right over
Tuesday,
this.
that's tomorrow, at 1:30 p.m.
But on this
in
last one, I can either
1229.
do these 2 numbers, or I can do
Students,
these 2
Chick-fil-A
numbers. It doesn't really
of
matter.
St. Pete Beach
I'm
is
going to go
offering
with Y
open
at
job
20.
interviews for
I
Northeast
say
High
Y
School
is at
students
20.
on Tuesday, February 23rd at 3
Long leg,
p.m.
hypotenuse.
Each student
I'm going to come over here and say
to
long
interview
leg,
will receive a free
hypotenuse.
Chick-fil-A sandwich, Chick-fil-A offers flexible schedules, scholarship opportunities, and a chance to learn leadership
Want to divide
skills.
both
See
sides?
Mr. Bailey in room 160 for more information.
Alright, that's enough
Flyers
for
are
now, that's our
also
first
posted around
example,
the
I hope that
campus.
gets us started, and I'll end this video on
Reminder,
that.
any
There will
student
be a part
plans
2
on
coming soon.
taking dual